Okay, usually I don't like talking about these type of subjects because we all prefer, I would say, good news. Yeah, but I think we have to dive into this. Now, there is a zookeeper in Nigeria, Abafemi Olawulo, who has been taking care of lions for a long time. He's been one of the lions. Unfortunately, it's very sad for his family. I mean, I can just imagine that's definitely not the way you want to get out of this world. Most of us pray that you depart in the most peaceful way possible, but just imagine you being grabbed and held down by beasts like that, with things going through your. I'm not going to say the word because we're going to get sanctioned. It must be horrific, and people watching, people witnessing the event. It's very sad. So a zookeeper at the Obafemi Olowolo University in Nigeria has lost his in a fatal attack and fatal encounter with one of the big lions. Yeah. His name was Olabode Olawuni, who had been working for the university zoo for close to a decade. I mean, just imagine this. Close to a decade, you've been working with the lions and they still turn on you. That's crazy. That shows you there is no loyalty in this world. So he was attacked during a routine feeding session, according to the university. Despite the effort of his colleague to intervene, it was literally impossible to save him. I mean, the man, who is this man? I mean, was he just one random guy that they hired to feed the lions? I mean, anybody can feed the lions, for a job. Everybody looking for a job. Can we say that? The zookeeper is a veterinary technologist. He's been taking care of the lions since they were born. So he's a professional. He knows his job. He's a scientist. And he's been working on the campus since 9 years ago. Fellas, can you really trust animals? I mean, I don't know. I don't know how you sometimes feel that you can trust wild animals like that. That wild instinct never depart. That ruthlessness of a lion can never go away. I don't care how long. People say, if you have a lion since it's a baby, and a lion remains a lion, okay? An animal from the wild, a crocodile, remains a crocodile. Yeah, we see here and there where people sort of manage them well. There's another guy in South Africa that says lions, he's taken care of the lions since they were babies. Lions, cheetahs, and some other wild animals. And they respect them. And I feel that relationship is also based on interest, feeding, and stuff like that. It's not for everybody, okay? I'm sorry. I feel like certain things are not for Africans. I'm just sorry. Just like Africans, whenever they hear a noise, they run away. And the other ones, they hear a noise, they want to go check, who is there? Who is in here? Africans, they hear something move on the table by itself, they run away. Other ones, you know what I'm talking about? When they see a bottle move on the table by itself, they want to go touch the bottle to understand what's happening. So I think certain things should be left to them to do, like handling lions and stuff like that. The place of a lion is in the wild, okay? The place of a lion is in the wild. So they have euthanized the lion. So the lion, obviously, because this is an incident, they're afraid it happens again. But now my question is, have you euthanized all lions that are still there? Do you think those lions have not seen that one of their brothers is not there no more? Do you think they feel good about it? No, they don't. Is this not going to happen anymore? Well, only God knows. Why do you need lions? Why do you need lions out of the forest? Well, you have lions so you can make money through the zoo. So in other words, you take in the liberty, the freedom. I mean, peace be with our beloved African brother. So but on the other hand, is it fair to take the lion out of the wild, put it in a cage, in a zoo for the rest of his life, so you can make money? I mean, put yourself in a lion's shoe. I know lions don't put shoes, but is it okay? Have you noticed that the lion, whether you leave it in a cage, it still goes left to right, feeling like it want to come out? A lion that's born in captivity, you put it in a cage, it still goes, lures left and right because it want to come out. Why does it want to come out? It has never known freedom. Have you ever asked yourself that question? Why doesn't the lion want to stay there? Because that's where it was born. That's where it grew up. That's everything the lion knows. But the lion want to come out. It's instinct. Okay, it's a vicious king wild instinct. The lion knows its space and place is not there. It has to be somewhere else out where you took it. It's the same for many of us. I say sometimes you live in life and you feel like you are not where you're supposed to be. Have you ever had that feeling? Like I have things, I have a job, I have stuff, but I feel like this is not where I'm supposed to be. I don't feel happy. You don't feel content. Why do you think you feel that way? It's an instinct. It's an internal instinct nobody can ever take away from you. It's because this old generation is living under the shackle of brand new slavery. Yes, going to work from 9 to 5 is slavery. That's not how human beings were meant to be. No. Going to work from 9 to 5 was created by somebody. Who came up with it? Have you ever asked yourself a question? Do you think human beings were just born and all of a sudden started going to work from 9 to 5? No. Who came up with this style of earning a living? You earn a living. How do you earn a living from 9 to 5? Who came up with that plan? Somebody fascinated the plan, came up with a plan, worked on it. Your natural instinct is telling you, dudes, you're tired of 9 to 5 because this is not how you're supposed to be. Just like for the case of the lion feels I'm not supposed to be here. So the reason why I'm not feeling content is maybe because of this guy. And again, I'm not talking about this guy specifically. I'm just saying, so don't fight that instinct when you have it inside of you. And let the lions and the tigers and whoever live in the forest do their own things. If you want to make money, find another way to make money. Sell bananas. I don't know. The banana will never attack you, or oranges, or find I don't know. If you're going to do a job as a veterinary, do you need to use it on lions? You can use it on dogs and cats. At least if a cat scratches you, it's a little something. It's not a big something. Don't the lions and the stuff and whatever deserve freedom? I'm not a partisan of zookeeping and keeping bears in a small little thing, where they have no freedom. Keep a tiger in a warm place where it has no freedom. No. I think they also deserve to have a life. Again, so lions are interesting beings. This reminds me of a story that's happened more than 100 years ago in 1898. The lions of Toga. So these are stories of two lions that did crazy things in Kenya. Let me just remind you here, at the time, Kenya was building, not Kenya necessarily, Kenya was colonized by the British, same as Uganda and many other countries. Now, when they came to Africa, in East Africa, they wanted to build a railroad from Kenya to Uganda, okay, enabling people, or them actually, to steal and loot from Uganda to the coast very easily. Let me just put it this way for you. When colonialists came into Africa, the first thing they did was to build a transportation system from wherever they're stealing to the coast. So if you look at most countries that have the coast, the best roads they had were the road from the inside the country to the coast. Purely. Why? Because they wanted to steal. This is the easiest way to steal. You build the road where the trucks are going to go, build the road where the train is going to travel very easily. So Kenya, at the time, under the shackle of the British, wanted to build a railroad coming from Mombasa to Uganda, Kampala. Okay, here's a map. And at the time, they actually brought in Indians, a lot of Indians, to work on the railroad. Now, the big question is, instead of taking black people from Africa to build the railroad, British went to India and took a lot of Indians to come and work on building the railroad. My question number one is, why did they pick Indians to build the railroad and not local Africans? I know local Africans that suffered damages and stuff. They finished many of them. But my question is, why Indians and not Africans? That's a big question. Some people say, well, they thought Africans were not enough to do the job. That's very sad. It sounds very racist. But is it not true? I don't know. My question is, why would you send ships to go pick up people from somewhere else to bring them in a continent where you have lots of people already that can do the job? That's a good question we need to ask. If you think you have the answer, please give us the answer. Now, those Indians came to Africa and many of them stayed until today. They made children, even though in Uganda at the time, one of the presidents, Idi Amin, chased the Indians because Indians had the economy of Uganda by the balls. They controlled the economy of Uganda in the 1960s.
They have been milking the economy of the country.
They had the businesses, they had the companies, they had everything. They were offering jobs to locals.
Uganda will be independent after this, my decision, after I want to see that the whole Kampala street is not full of Indians.
I know you heard stories about Idi Amin, but you only heard bad, negative stories. But there is a version of the situation that says that Idi Amin chased the Indians because he felt like Indians in Uganda only lived within their own communities. So they came into Uganda, they did not mingle and mix with Ugandans. They had their own communities where they stayed. They ate together, they celebrated only with themselves, they married only Indians. So they had like a little small India within Uganda, and they could not integrate black people. So the president at the time, Idi Amin, did not like that. He said, hey, you're going to open up to your stuff, you're going to invest into Uganda and not send money to Britain, because that's what they did most of the time. The Indians will work, make money, and once they get the money, they send money to India or they send money to Britain in banks. They will not inject the money into Ugandan banks. So Idi Amin said to them, if you really are Ugandan, then you need to do that. Then you need to intermarry. You need to really behave like real Ugandans. Indians were not ready to do that. So he asked them to leave. He says, I'm giving you 48 hours to leave. And the Indians left. Anyway, so let's get back to our story. After Idi Amin, obviously, many Indians came back and a lot of locals could not run the companies they took from the Indians. Unfortunately, they were not prepared. They chased the Indians with no preparation. So Idi Amin's idea was maybe good for the locals. But unfortunately, the people could not do their part because they were not trained to do business. They were not trained to run companies. They were not trained to handle things economically. They were not educated enough to do that. So unfortunately, as you understand economics, once those people that sorted those business left and took with them the secret of the business, the Ugandans, the locals, could not handle the business, even though they inherited the businesses for free. So a few months later, they all crashed. Anyway, let's get back to our story. So now, the Lions of Tsoga, while the Indians were building the railroad from Kenya to Uganda, there was two lions that did drastic things. The lions used to pull people out of their tent at night. They pull you out of the tent and they go finish you. They pull you out of the tent, they go finish you. And many people were taken out, unfortunately. Some people talk about some British people as well were victims of these lions of Tsoga. Eventually, some people say they ate about 100 and something. Yeah. You know, you can understand again, because once the lion discovers that it has an easy prey, the human is a very easy prey to a lion compared to a buffalo that weighs a ton or 1,000 kilograms. A human is 67, 80 kilograms. It's absolutely nothing facing a lion. So once a lion discovers that it can get an easy meal, do you think it's still going to go find a big buffalo? Absolutely not. And one other reason why lions will do that is because there's trauma. Okay? Those lions did atrocious things. Later on, after they took them out, they realized that one of the lions had a trauma, had a pass in one of the crocks. So one of the lion teeth had a big hole in it, probably from trying to catch a buffalo that kicked it in the mouth. And because it's got this injury, it can only try find prey that are lower, than buffaloes, that are easier to catch. And that was perhaps one of the reasons why. So many people thought at the time it was spirit trying to take people away, or, spirit not happy with the building of the railroad and many other things. But they were called the Lion of Tsoga. Taken away, put into museum. After they were finished, took into museum in Western nations. That the disrespect. They take your stuff away from hundreds of years. Appropriate it. Anyway, they did do a good job trying to stop these people from doing what they did. I mean, I don't know. You tell me how you feel. In other words, my idea is very simple. I think you need to leave the lions where they belong. Okay. May peace be with, I can't say the full word because we're getting censored when you talk about this subject. But I don't think lions should be in cages. I don't think you should be going entertaining lions and looking at lions wherever they are if you're not protected enough. No, you're not an animal. No, you're not their god. Doesn't matter how much you've taken care of that thing. That thing is going to bite you and finish you. If human beings who are supposed to be empathetic towards human beings can still turn on you after you've done so much for them, what do you think a lion is going to do when it's not very happy and it shows dominance over you? Let me know how you feel about this. It's always a great pleasure to hear from you. God bless.